9.com.au. And finally, the Kardashian family circus. Well, it hit town with gusto, didn't it, with newly single Kim E. I like to call her Kim E. Touching down in Sydney yesterday. She assured us she married for love, but there's no denying she's entered serious damage control mode. But have we had enough of Kimmy, even though she's just arrived? I don't think so. I think she's lovely.
I really struggle with Kim. I feel like I've been in some kind of other world and have missed the entire Kim Kardashian thing. I woke up to discover that she'd, was getting divorced after 72 days, and I only vaguely remembered that she'd gotten married. So I struggle with the Kardashian thing. I'm still in Paris Hilton land, really. Yeah. I still remember when she came out to Australia and got this sort of treatment. I haven't kind of moved on to the Kardashians, but I was talking to someone last night who interviewed her, and she said that she did seem quite vulnerable and did seem quite hurt and was struggling with it a bit when you saw her up close. So if that's true, if it is, if she is shattered by it, to turn up and to fulfil those commitments last night is a big deal.
Fordo and I reckon you should put her on the front cover of the Australian Women's Weekly next month.
Well, I have to work out who she is, don't I, before I can do that. Next month. Ooh. Well, that's not to say other people. That's not to say other people don't know. It's just my problem. But it's the Christmas issue next month. It has to be an Australian.
Ooh, it's perfect.
Perfect for the Christmas issue of the Weekly.
Dangly earrings, little baubles.
Well, can we ask your viewers what they think about that?
Yeah, we can. Today at 9.com.au, and if we get 3 emails to the affirmative, she's on the cover.
She's on.
Thanks, Helen.
Don't do that to me.
Let's get some gossip now with Richard Wilkins.
Thank you very much indeed, Carlos. We're going to go to Hollywood, where Richard rejoins us. We'll get to Kim Kardashian and her mum very shortly, Richard. But firstly, Judgment Day for Lindsay Lohan. Oi, oi, oi. She's headed back to the slammer.
Oh, my gosh, that's right. She's going to be a prisoner, that's for sure. The judge threw the book at Lindsay today. 30 days behind bars. That's right. Lindsay's taken the news like a champ. She was very stoic in court today. Now, this all stems from, violating her probation, not doing her community service, not going to her therapy sessions. The judge says, you know what? If you mess up this time, you'll be in jail for 270 days. Now, with overcrowding here in LA, she'll probably only be in about 6 days, and she has a week to wrap up all her affairs and then head behind the bars.
Oh, yeah, it's just all so avoidable, isn't it? Anyway, Richard, you'll be following that. While Kim Kardashian's here in Australia in serious damage control, her mum's doing the same in your neck of the woods.
Is she ever? Kris Jenner, rather. She's really thought to be the Svengali, the puppet master, the brains behind the whole Kardashian empire. She did take to television today to defend her little girl's decision to divorce.
This is what I feel that I need to do. Please trust me. Please be there for me. And of course, as her mom, I'm with my girls, through thick and thin. And it's tough. Sorry, I didn't mean to go to the emotional place, but it's a tough time for the family and for Kim and for, everybody involved. It's really hard to go through this on such a public stage.
Oh, there you go. She's feeling it.
Yeah, well, what do you think? Are those tears real or not?
Well, they seem genuine. Obviously, she's a mum who loves her daughter. Her daughter's doing it tough. It's the whole world's watching on. So I would say the jury's out, and the family is certainly reeling from this whole PR sort of, I don't know, what do you call it? Catastrophe, fiasco. Pick a word,
How about you call it a mini-series? How about you call it to be continued in another episode?
And will be, I'm sure. Richard, thanks for that, buddy. We'll update all that stuff in an hour's time. See you then.
All right.
I had a very weird experience just then because I went past you when you were on air, and I didn't mean to do it, but I actually felt exactly like a rabbit feels when it crosses the road, or a kangaroo, and then they see the headlights and they just got that. Whoa. And they know that they can't do anything about it. I was frozen with fear.
I wasn't sure if I should call out. Look out, Richard! The baddie's behind you.
All right, coming up this hour, the world's most famous royals join forces in Denmark. Shortly, we'll find out what happened at their lunch. Pete was there, brother Pete, and details of Princess Mary's next visit to Australia.
Yeah, it's not too far away now. And also ahead, your favourite Brady Bunch memories.
A lovely lady who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother, the youngest one in curls. It's the story.
All right, shortly Carol Brady reveals all about her time on the show and her relationships with the cast. But right now...
It is news time. Here's Georgie.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning. The mother of Julian Assange has urged Australians to pressure the government to ensure that her son is not sent to the United States and tortured. Overnight, the WikiLeaks founder's appeal against extradition to Sweden was quashed by Britain's High Court.
Champion of transparency, honesty and free speech. But here, Julian Assange wasn't saying much at all.
Mr Assange.
The 40-year-old Australian became just a speck, lost in an onslaught of cameras as he emerged from Britain's High Court, where he just lost his appeal against extradition to Sweden to face questions about sex crimes against 2 women.
I have not been charged with any crime in any country.
Assange says the claims are just a political plot by the US to have him silenced and deported there to face espionage charges. His mother on Queensland's Sunshine Coast has called for the Prime Minister to step in.
The real issue is for, I would think, the Australian government to ensure that he's fairly tried.
He could face extradition within a fortnight.
We will be considering our next step in the days ahead.
Davina Smith, 9 News.
Survivors of Tuesday's asylum seeker boat tragedy off Indonesia have described the ordeal as their worst nightmare. Around 60 people were crammed onto the small wooden boat, which was on its way to Australia when it hit rough seas on Tuesday. 8 asylum seekers have been confirmed dead, and officials hold little hope of finding 10 others who are still missing. Children were among those who drowned.
I don't know what's happened to me now. What can I do now, please?
There are concerns a second boat, which had been part of the people smuggling operation, also went down in the storm. Communications Minister Stephen Conroy has played down fresh claims of a leadership challenge by Kevin Rudd. News Limited reports today that advisers are telling Mr Rudd not to wait too long to make his move and that a challenge could come as early as this month. But Mr Conroy says the current partnership between Mr Rudd and the Prime Minister is working well.
There's an admiration for the job that he's doing as Foreign Affairs Minister. We picked up a lot of support last week for our bid for the UN Security Council. That's down to Julia and Kevin.
It's reported the threat of a coup is being taken seriously by Julia Gillard, who is trying to shore up support. A Sydney home has been sprayed with bullets during a brazen drive-by shooting in the city's west overnight. A woman was alone in her Northmead home when a number of shots were fired at the building. Forensic detectives examined the scene while several witnesses spoke to police. No one was injured. The National Australia Bank is standing by its decision not to pass on the full interest rate cut announced by the Reserve Bank on Tuesday. Despite a $5.5 billion profit last year, the NAB lowered its rates by just 0.2%. It did, however, slash the interest on offer for its online savings accounts by 0.4%. The other 3 big banks have passed the 0.25% cut on in full. Treasurer Wayne Swan says the NAB has made a greedy and unjustified decision. Well, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge joined with Denmark's Princess Mary and her husband Prince Frederick overnight to raise awareness about the drought crisis in East Africa. Kate gave her first media interview since becoming a member of the royal family.
It's really just how shocking the situation still is. You know, it's been going for sort of 100 days or so, and it's really still ongoing, and a huge amount still has to happen.
Inside a UNICEF emergency supply centre in Copenhagen, the royal couples helped pack food, water and medical supplies. Checking on the finance now, and at the close of trade in the US, the Dow Jones is up by 178 points. Gold is higher, the price of oil is up as well at $92 a barrel, and the Australian dollar is mixed against the majors. Right now, it'll get you 103 US cents. Let's get all the sport now. Here's Ben.
Why not, Georgie? Thank you very much. Surfing first of all, Kelly Slater's bid for an unprecedented 11 world crowns gets underway in just over an hour. The 39-year-old needs to win his round 3 heat at the Rip Curl Pro in San Francisco this morning, meaning he'll finish at least 9th at Ocean Beach, securing the title with only one event remaining on the tour. Standing in his way, though, this morning, Aussie surfer Dan Ross.